This title is presented to you by Soundlibra.com. For more audiobooks like this, click the link in the description or visit our website at Soundlibra.com. Welcome. Today, we begin with the very foundation of connection, understanding attachment in our new series. Welcome, everyone. I'm Alex, and this is our brand new series, The Essential Parent Library. Over the next 13 episodes, we'll explore what makes parenting truly fulfilling. We're starting at the very beginning with connection. Before we jump in, a quick note that while we're discussing psychological concepts, this isn't medical advice, so please consult a professional for specific mental health concerns. The bond between a parent and child is everything.
It's exciting to embark on this journey with you all. As a parent, I know how much we want to get it right. This first episode, The Foundation of Connection, Understanding Attachment, sets the stage. Alex, what exactly is this attachment we're talking about?
At its core, attachment is the deep, emotional bond between a child and their primary caregiver. Think of it as an invisible thread, a profound sense of safety and security. It's about responding to a child's needs, both physical and emotional, in a consistent and loving way. This emotional safety is crucial for a child's development.
So, it's like building a secure base from which a child can explore the world?
Exactly. That's a perfect analogy. A secure attachment means a child knows they have a safe haven to return to if they're distressed or scared. They can explore, learn, and play, confident their caregiver is there for support. This secure base is fundamental to building trust and fostering independence.
And this is all part of something called attachment theory, right? It sounds quite scientific.
It is scientific but incredibly relatable. Attachment theory was pioneered by John Bowlby and expanded by Mary Ainsworth. They observed that infants have an innate need to form strong emotional bonds with caregivers. This bond serves a vital evolutionary purpose, ensuring survival. Ainsworth developed a method to observe how children react when their caregiver leaves them in an unfamiliar environment and then returns.
Yes, I've heard of that. It's fascinating how children react differently in those situations. What did those observations reveal?
They revealed distinct patterns of attachment. These patterns, or styles, are largely shaped by the caregiver's responsiveness. We talk about four main attachment styles. The gold standard, the one we all hope for, is secure attachment.
Okay, secure attachment. We've touched on that. What does that look like in practice?
In secure attachment, a child feels comfortable exploring their environment while their caregiver is present. They might show distress when the caregiver leaves, but they are easily soothed and happy to see them upon return. They actively seek comfort and interaction from their caregiver. This style develops when caregivers are consistently available, sensitive, and responsive to the child's needs. The child learns that their caregiver is a reliable source of comfort.
That makes so much sense. It's about predictability and trust. So, what are the other styles?
Next, we have the insecure avoidant attachment style. In this pattern, children may seem independent and not overly bothered when the caregiver leaves or returns. They might actively avoid their caregiver. This often happens when a caregiver is consistently rejecting or unresponsive to a child's bids for comfort or attention. The child learns, unfortunately, that seeking comfort is not going to be met with a positive response, so they suppress their needs.
That sounds difficult for a child. They're learning to just look after themselves emotionally from a very young age.
Precisely. Then there's the insecure ambivalent, sometimes called anxious ambivalent, attachment style. Children with this style often show distress when the caregiver leaves, but upon return, they display a mix of seeking proximity and resisting contact. They might cling to the caregiver, then push them away. They can be difficult to soothe. This pattern typically arises when caregivers are inconsistently responsive, sometimes warm and attentive, other times ignoring or intrusive. The child is left feeling uncertain about whether their needs will be met.
So, They're anxious and unsure about what to expect from their caregiver. It's like a constant state of worry.
Exactly. And the fourth style, which is less common but very important to recognize, is disorganized attachment. Children in this category display unpredictable behaviors. They might freeze, seem confused, or even show fear towards their caregiver. This disorganized behavior is often seen in situations where the caregiver is also a source of fear or distress for the child, which can happen in cases of abuse, neglect, or trauma. It's a pattern that signifies a deep conflict, needing comfort from someone who is also frightening.
Wow, Alex, that's a lot to take in. Secure, insecure avoidant, insecure ambivalent, and disorganized. So, these styles are formed in early childhood primarily?
Yes, the early years from infancy through toddlerhood are the most critical period for forming these initial attachment patterns. This is when the brain is developing rapidly, and these early relationships lay the groundwork for future emotional and social development. A child's early experiences with their caregiver create an internal model of relationships. This model shapes how they see themselves, how they view others, and how they expect relationships to be throughout their lives.
So, it's not just about how they behave as babies, but it has lasting effects. That's a powerful thought.
It truly is. But here's the encouraging news, Lisa, and for all our listeners, attachment is not set in stone. While early patterns are influential, they can be modified. With consistent, sensitive, and responsive parenting, a child who initially showed an insecure attachment can develop greater security over time. It's about meeting their emotional needs with empathy and understanding.
That's such a hopeful message, Alex. So, to recap for our listeners, attachment is the deep emotional bond between a child and caregiver, crucial for a child's sense of safety and exploration. We learned about John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth's work and identified four main attachment styles: secure, insecure avoidant, insecure ambivalent, and disorganized. These styles are formed early and impact a child's view of relationships, but can be nurtured towards greater security.
Perfectly summarized, Lisa, understanding these foundational concepts is the first and perhaps most crucial step in becoming an essential parent. It empowers us to be more attuned, more responsive, and more effective in nurturing our children's emotional well-being. Next episode, building blocks of growth, navigating early development. Welcome back. Last time, we explored the crucial foundation of secure attachment. Now we're navigating the fascinating landscape of early development.
It's amazing how much happens in those first few years. It feels like a whirlwind of milestones.
Absolutely. Understanding these developmental stages gives us a roadmap to support our child's evolving needs and foster optimal growth. Let's start with the physical milestones in infancy. Babies develop basic reflexes for survival and sensory exploration, gaining head control and learning to roll over. These build the muscular strength for future skills.
And from a parent's perspective, it's thrilling to witness those firsts, the first smile, the first grasp.
Exactly. Those interactions feed cognitive development. Even from birth, babies observe and learn, recognizing familiar voices and scents, beginning to understand the world. They explore cause and effect. What happens when they cry? This builds their understanding of how things work.
So, it's not just about physical movements, but what's happening in their minds too.
Precisely. And hand in hand with that is emotional development. A secure attachment is the bedrock. An infant who feels safe is more likely to explore and develop a positive emotional outlook. They express basic emotions like joy, sadness, and anger, genuine inner states.
Learning to read those cues, to understand what those expressions mean, is a huge part of early parenting.
It is. It's a process of attunement. Now, moving into toddlerhood, roughly between 1 and 3 years old, development really picks up. Physically, they become much more mobile, walking, running, climbing. They assert independence and explore their physical capabilities.
Oh, the toddler years. That's when they love to test boundaries.
They do. And this ties into cognitive growth. Their language skills explode. They move from single words to short sentences, rapidly expanding vocabulary. This allows them to express needs, though sometimes with passion. They develop a greater sense of object permanence. Understanding things still exist when unseen. Their play becomes more imaginative.
That imaginative play is such a key shift. It shows their thinking is evolving.
It really does. Socially and emotionally, toddlers navigate independence. They assert their will, leading to classic challenges, tantrums, the no stage. But this is about developing their own sense of self. They start to understand they are separate individuals. They engage in parallel play, then more interactive play.
So, that assertiveness, while challenging, is a sign of healthy development, of them figuring out who they are.
Exactly. It's exploration of autonomy. As they move into preschool years from around 3 to 5, foundations are built upon. Physically, their fine motor skills improve dramatically, drawing, cutting. Their gross motor skills refine, allowing more complex activities.
And their thinking? I imagine that's a huge leap forward.
It is. Cognitively, preschoolers use symbols and language more effectively, but their thinking is still quite egocentric. They have trouble seeing from another's perspective. Their imagination is active, blurring fantasy and reality. They develop a better understanding of concepts like time and number, though it's still concrete.
That egocentric thinking is something parents often grapple with. Understanding it's a developmental stage is really helpful.
It's crucial. Socially and emotionally, this is a period of significant growth in social skills. They learn to share, take turns, and cooperate. They develop empathy, though it's still early. They label more complex emotions. They develop a stronger sense of right and wrong, though their moral reasoning is black and white.
So, to recap, in infancy, rapid physical development, basic cognitive exploration, and secure attachment. In toddlerhood, explosive mobility and language, assertion of independence, and imaginative play. In preschool, refined motor skills, developing symbolic thought, and expanding social emotional understanding with growing empathy.
That's a perfect summary. And remember, these are general timelines. Every child develops at their own pace. The key is a supportive, nurturing environment where they feel safe to explore, learn, and grow. That secure base is the launch pad. By understanding these building blocks of growth, we're better equipped to support our children.
It really does feel like it all connects back to that secure foundation.
It absolutely does. And building on this understanding of development, in our next episode, we'll tackle how positive discipline can effectively guide children through these stages. Next episode, the power of positive discipline. Welcome back. Today, we're discussing positive discipline.
Because I said so is such a common phrase for parents. Positive discipline sounds like a new way.
It's about shifting from punishment to teaching and guiding. We aim to understand the why behind behavior and help children learn better ways to handle feelings and actions. We build skills, not just manage behavior.
So, it's about shaping them into capable people long term, not just stopping them in the moment.
Exactly. If a child struggles with math, we teach. Positive discipline is the same for social and emotional learning. When a child acts out, it's often a sign they lack a skill or are overwhelmed. Our role is to teach them how to manage that.
That makes sense. But how do we actually do that? How do we teach them when they're in the middle of a tantrum, for instance? It feels impossible.
It's a process, and it starts with understanding that discipline means to teach, not to punish. The first step is often connection. When a child is upset, they need to feel understood before they can be guided. Acknowledge their feelings, even if you don't agree with the behavior. Phrases like, I see you're really angry right now, can be powerful.
So, connect before you correct. That's a good one to remember.
Definitely. Once they're a bit calmer, you can then move to teaching. This involves setting clear, consistent boundaries. Children thrive on predictability. Having rules that are explained and consistently enforced helps them understand expectations. And when they cross a boundary, the consequence should be related to the behavior and be a learning opportunity.
What's an example of a related consequence?
If a child throws a toy, a related consequence might be that the toy is put away for a short period, or they have to help fix it if it broke. It's not about making them suffer, but about them understanding the impact of their actions and learning responsibility. It's about teaching them how to make amends.
So, no more timeouts in the corner that just make them feel isolated and resentful?
Ideally, we move away from those. Instead, we might use what's called a time in or a calm down corner. This is a safe, cozy space where a child can go to regulate their emotions. It's not a punishment, but a supportive space to regain control, perhaps with some calming tools like soft pillows or books. The parent might even join them to help them through it.
That sounds much more nurturing. It's about teaching them how to calm down, rather than just forcing them to be quiet.
Precisely. And fostering cooperation is a huge part of positive discipline. Instead of demanding, we can invite. Would you like to help me set the table, or would you prefer to clear the plates? Giving children a sense of control and involvement, even in small ways, makes them more likely to cooperate.
That's a fantastic strategy for those morning rushes or after-school cleanup battles.
It really is. Another key is encouraging problem solving. When conflicts arise, involve your child in finding solutions. Ask them, what do you think we can do to solve this? Or how can we make sure this doesn't happen again? This empowers them and builds their critical thinking skills.
So, it's about building their inner self-control, their self-regulation, rather than relying on us to constantly control them from the outside.
You've hit the nail on the head. We want to raise children who can manage themselves, make good choices, and be resilient. This approach focuses on building that internal compass. It's about treating children with respect, even when they make mistakes. They are learning, and learning involves trial and error.
And I imagine this also builds a stronger relationship with your child. If they feel understood and respected, even during difficult moments, they're more likely to trust you and come to you.
Absolutely. It strengthens the parent-child bond. When discipline is based on empathy, respect, and teaching, children feel safer and more secure. This secure attachment, which we discussed earlier, is the bedrock for all their future learning and development. They are more willing to listen and learn from someone they trust and feel connected to.
So, to recap, positive discipline is about teaching, not punishing. It involves connecting first, setting clear and consistent boundaries with related consequences, using supportive calm down spaces instead of punitive timeouts, inviting cooperation, and encouraging problem solving.
That's a great summary, Lisa. It's a shift in perspective, but one that yields incredible long-term benefits for both children and parents. It fosters a more peaceful, cooperative, and respectful home environment.
So, instead of an out of control parent just reacting, we become a guiding parent teaching essential life skills. It requires patience for sure.
It does, and it's a skill that parents can develop over time. We'll be exploring more practical tools and age-specific strategies in future episodes.
Sounds good. So, we've laid the groundwork for development, and now how to guide that development with positive discipline. What's next on our parenting journey?
Next episode, we'll focus on the inner world of our children, exploring how to cultivate emotional intelligence. Thanks for listening. back. Last time, we discussed positive discipline. Today, let's focus on emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence, or EQ. It sounds so important, Alex, and I know it's central to raising well-adjusted kids. But what exactly is it, and how can we, as parents, actually cultivate it in our children?
That's the perfect place to start, Lisa. At its core, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, and to recognize and influence the emotions of others. Think of it as having a really good internal compass for feelings.
A compass for feelings. I like that. So, it's not just about feeling happy or sad, but understanding why you feel that way, and then knowing what to do with that feeling.
Exactly. And for children, this process begins with something incredibly simple, yet profoundly powerful: naming their emotions. We need to help them build a robust emotional vocabulary. Imagine a toddler who's frustrated because they can't get a toy to work. They might cry, scream, or throw things.
The classic meltdown.
Precisely. Now, if we jump in with a stern "stop that" or "calm down," we're not helping them understand their frustration. But if we get down to their level and say, "Oh, you seem really frustrated because the block isn't going where you want it." It's hard when things don't work, isn't it?
Ah, so we're validating the feeling and giving it a name. Frustration. That's a key step, isn't it? Because before you can manage a feeling, you have to acknowledge it.
Absolutely. And this isn't just for tiny tots. As children grow, they experience a wider range of emotions: disappointment, embarrassment, excitement, jealousy. Our role is to help them identify these feelings in themselves. We can ask them, "What does that make you feel when your friend gets picked first for the game?" Or, "You're beaming. What's making you so happy right now?"
So it's about being observant and creating those little teaching moments throughout the day rather than waiting for a big outburst.
Exactly. And once we've helped them name their emotions, the next, equally crucial step is helping them understand them. Why do we feel this way? What triggers this emotion? For example, jealousy. It's a common feeling, but often misunderstood. Helping a child understand that jealousy often stems from a fear of losing something important, like a parent's attention or a special toy, can demystify it.
And then the tricky part, managing those emotions. This is where we move from just understanding to actual regulation.
Right? Emotional regulation is like teaching a child to be the driver of their emotional car, not just a passenger being tossed around. It's not about suppressing emotions, which is unhealthy, but about learning to respond to them in constructive ways. This is where our previous conversations about positive discipline connect beautifully.
So if a child is angry, instead of just telling them to stop being angry, we help them find acceptable ways to express that anger.
Precisely. We might suggest they take some deep breaths, go for a quick run around the block, stomp their feet in a designated stomping spot, or draw their angry feelings. These are all ways to release that energy without causing harm. We're teaching them coping mechanisms.
This sounds like it requires a lot of patience from parents. And honestly, sometimes when we're stressed or tired, our own emotional control can be shaky.
You've hit on one of the most critical aspects of cultivating emotional intelligence in children, Lisa: our own modeling. Children learn about emotions and how to manage them by watching us. Our reactions to stress, our ability to apologize when we've made a mistake, how we handle disappointment. These are powerful lessons.
So if I'm really upset about something and I start yelling or completely shut down, I'm teaching my child that's how you deal with big feelings.
You are. However, if you can say, "Mommy is feeling very frustrated right now because the traffic is so bad. I'm going to take a few deep breaths to calm myself down." You're modeling healthy emotional regulation. You're showing them that it's okay to have big feelings, but there are ways to manage them constructively.
That brings up another point. When we lose our temper, what's the best way to handle that from a child's perspective and for our own EQ development?
That's a fantastic question, and it's about showing vulnerability and accountability, which are also signs of high emotional intelligence. After you've calmed down, it's important to apologize. You can say, "I was really upset earlier, and I shouldn't have spoken to you that way." I'm sorry I raised my voice. I need to be better at managing my own frustration.
That modeling of an apology is huge. It shows them that everyone makes mistakes, and the important part is taking responsibility and learning from it. It's a cycle of repair that's essential for healthy relationships.
Absolutely. And this ability to understand and manage emotions isn't just about preventing meltdowns. It's foundational for so many other areas of life. Children with higher emotional intelligence tend to have better relationships, perform better academically, and are more resilient in the face of challenges.
So, we're not just teaching them to be good or be polite. We're equipping them with life skills that will serve them their entire lives. We're building empathy, too, aren't we? By understanding our own feelings, we become better equipped to understand what someone else might be going through.
Empathy is a direct outcome of emotional intelligence. When children can recognize and understand emotions in themselves, they're much more likely to recognize and understand them in others. They can start to put themselves in someone else's shoes. This is crucial for conflict resolution and building strong social connections.
Let's do a quick recap because this is so much to absorb. First, we help children identify and name their emotions. Then, we help them understand what triggers those emotions. Next, we guide them in developing healthy ways to manage or regulate those feelings. And throughout all of this, we, as parents, are the most powerful role models, demonstrating our own emotional intelligence through our words and actions.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. It's a continuous process, a journey we take with our children. It requires intention, patience, and a willingness to be aware of our own emotional landscape as much as theirs.
And it's a skill set that truly underpins so much of what we want for our children: happiness, connection, and the ability to navigate the world with confidence.
Exactly. This focus on emotions is also what makes positive discipline so effective. When children feel understood and have the tools to manage their feelings, they're far more likely to cooperate and make positive choices.
So, cultivating emotional intelligence isn't just a nice to have for kids, it's an absolute necessity for a happy, healthy, and well adjusted life.
It truly is. And the good news is, we're all capable of growing our own emotional intelligence alongside our children. Next time, we're going to explore the vital skill of effective communication with children. We'll discuss how to ensure our messages are heard, understood, and create connection rather than distance.
Excellent. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back. Last time, we explored emotional intelligence in children. Now, let's focus on effective communication.
Absolutely, Alex. Communication is the bedrock of our connection with our children. It's how we truly show love and build understanding.
Exactly. And the first and perhaps most crucial element of effective communication is active listening. This isn't just about hearing the words. It's about truly understanding what our child is trying to tell us, both verbally and non-verbally. When our children feel heard by us, it builds trust and encourages them to open up.
So, active listening means putting down what we're doing, making eye contact, and really focusing on them?
Precisely. It means giving them our full attention. It involves nodding, making affirming sounds, and resisting the urge to interrupt or jump in with solutions too quickly. We want to let them finish their thoughts. Sometimes just being a sounding board is exactly what they need. And beyond just listening, we need to practice empathetic responses. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. When a child expresses frustration, sadness, or even excitement, our first instinct shouldn't be to dismiss their feelings or try to fix the situation immediately. Instead, we should acknowledge and validate their emotions.
So, instead of saying, "Don't cry, it's not that bad," we should say something like, "It sounds like you're feeling really sad about that."
Exactly. You've hit the nail on the head by saying, "It sounds like you're feeling really sad." We're validating their emotion. We're letting them know that we understand their feelings are real and important. This helps them feel understood and less alone. It's like giving their feelings a name and showing them you recognize it.
That makes so much sense. It's about letting them know their feelings are okay.
Precisely. This leads us to another vital aspect, using age-appropriate language. What we say and how we say it needs to match our child's developmental stage. A 1-year-old needs very different communication than a 6-year-old or a 12-year-old.
Think about it like speaking different languages. You wouldn't use the same complex vocabulary with a toddler as you would with an adult.
That's a great analogy, Lisa. For younger children, keep it simple, concrete, and focused on the immediate. Use short sentences and repeat keywords. For example, instead of a long explanation about why they can't have a cookie before dinner, simply say, "Not now, cookie after dinner."
And for older kids, we can use more nuanced language and explore more complex ideas with them.
Right? As they get older, we can introduce more abstract concepts and engage in more elaborate conversations. It's about meeting them where they are. And this mindful communication extends to navigating difficult conversations, which are inevitable in parenting.
Oh, the difficult conversations. Those are often the most challenging. How do we approach those effectively?
The key here is to remain calm, be direct but kind, and focus on the specific behavior, not on labeling the child. We want to create a safe space for them to understand and learn rather than feel attacked or shamed. Remember when we discussed creating a positive family culture in episode 7? Effective communication is a cornerstone of that. When we communicate openly and honestly, even about tough stuff, it strengthens the family bond. It's about building bridges, not walls, between us and our children.
So, for difficult conversations, we should set the stage with a calm approach, use I statements to express our feelings or concerns, and really listen to their perspective too.
Exactly. For example, if a child has been consistently pushing boundaries instead of saying, "You're being so naughty," we could say, "I've noticed that sometimes the rules aren't being followed, and I'm concerned because rules help keep us safe and happy. Can you help me understand what's happening?"
That shifts the focus from blame to understanding and problem solving. It invites them into the conversation.
It truly does. And by actively listening and responding with empathy, we're reinforcing the secure attachment we've been building. When children feel safe to express themselves and know they'll be heard and understood, they're more likely to trust us and share their worries and triumphs. Think of communication as a two-way street. It's not just about us imparting information or rules. It's about creating a dialogue where both parties feel respected and valued. This continuous dialogue helps us stay connected as they grow and change.
So, to recap, effective communication with children involves 1. Practicing active listening, truly focusing on what they're saying and feeling. 2. Using empathetic responses, validating their emotions. 3. Adapting our language to be age appropriate. And 4. Approaching difficult conversations with calmness, honesty, and a focus on understanding.
You've summarized it perfectly, Lisa. These aren't just techniques. They're expressions of love and respect. By mastering these tools, we nurture their emotional intelligence, strengthen our bond, and help them develop into confident, well-adjusted individuals. Remember, the goal is not just to get them to comply, but to build a relationship based on trust, understanding, and open dialogue. This foundation will serve them and our family for a lifetime.
And it all ties back to creating that secure attachment we talked about in episode 1. Consistent, mindful communication is a powerful way to show them they are loved and valued, no matter what.
Absolutely. These skills are like the mortar that holds the bricks of attachment and emotional intelligence together. They are fundamental to raising children who feel safe, understood, and empowered.
It's about speaking their language, whatever their age, and listening with our whole hearts.
Well said. As we move forward, we'll continue to build on these essential parenting skills. Next episode, You Matter Too, the necessity of parental self-care. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we explored effective communication with our children. Now let's tackle parental self-care.
That's right, Alex. It's so easy for parents to put themselves last. The to-do lists are endless, and our children's needs often feel paramount. But this episode is titled, You Matter Too, and it's a crucial reminder that taking care of ourselves isn't a luxury. It's an absolute necessity for being the best parents we can be.
Exactly, Lisa. Think of it like the oxygen mask on an airplane. You have to put your own mask on first before you can help anyone else. If we're running on empty, emotionally, mentally, and physically, our ability to connect, communicate, and discipline effectively, all the things we've talked about in previous episodes, is severely compromised. We become more irritable, less patient, and less present.
So, it's not about being selfish, it's about sustainability. If we want to have the energy and emotional resilience to nurture our children, we need to replenish our own reserves. But for many parents, the idea of self-care feels overwhelming. What does it even look like in the reality of daily life with kids?
That's a great question, and it's important to demystify it. Self-care doesn't have to mean a spa day every week, though those are lovely. It can be much simpler, and often it's about small, consistent actions that recharge you. It's about finding those moments, however brief, to attend to your own needs.
Can you give us some examples? What are some of the building blocks for incorporating self-care?
Absolutely. Let's start with the foundational elements: sleep, nutrition, and movement. These are the absolute bedrock of our physical and mental well-being. Are you getting enough sleep? I know for many parents, this is the hardest one. But even small improvements can make a difference. Can you and your partner, or a trusted friend or family member, take turns with early morning wake-ups or late-night routines to allow for a slightly longer stretch of sleep?
That's a good point about sharing the load. Sometimes it feels like we have to do it all ourselves. And nutrition? I've definitely been guilty of grabbing whatever's quick and easy, which often isn't the most nourishing.
Me too. But fueling your body with good food provides sustained energy. It's not about elaborate meal prep. It can be as simple as having healthy snacks readily available: fruits, nuts, yogurt. And movement. Even a short walk around the block, a few stretches, or dancing in the living room with your kids can release endorphins and boost your mood. It doesn't need to be an hour at the gym.
So, the physical basics are key. What about the mental and emotional side? Because I think that's where many parents struggle.
Welcome back. Last time, we talked about parental self-care. Now, let's foster your family's identity.
Family culture sounds intentional. Is it built actively, or does it just happen?
It's built intentionally or not. Think of it as your family's personality, the atmosphere, shared values, traditions, and interactions. A positive culture is warm, supportive, connected, and fosters belonging.
How do we build this positive culture? Where do we start?
We start with what we've laid the groundwork for. Remember effective communication from episode 5? That's a cornerstone. How do you talk to each other? Is it with respect, active listening, and kindness, or with criticism? Your communication sets the tone.
If we're always yelling, the culture feels tense.
Exactly. And it ties into positive discipline from episode 3. A positive family culture has clear expectations, consistent boundaries, and focuses on teaching and growth, not just punishment. When children understand expectations and feel supported through mistakes, they feel safer. This security builds identity.
So, communication and discipline are key. What else shapes this family identity?
Shared values are crucial. What principles does your family stand for? Honesty, hard work, kindness, creativity, faith? When a family consciously lives by core values, it creates a strong moral compass guiding decisions and routines.
So, if honesty is a value, we discuss why it's important and praise kids for being honest, even about difficult things.
Precisely. And this leads to another vital element: traditions. Traditions are rituals marking special occasions and ordinary days. They create predictable anchors and weave shared experiences children will remember.
Traditions can be big, like vacations, or small, like bedtime stories or Sunday pancakes.
Absolutely. Those small, consistent traditions are powerful. They create continuity and belonging. Think of a family meal after a game or a unique birthday celebration. These aren't just events, they're threads in your family's identity. They say, this is who we are, and this is what we do.
These traditions also help with emotional intelligence from episode 4. They provide opportunities to connect and process feelings.
You're right. Creating space for shared experiences and conversations fosters emotional intelligence. You teach children how to navigate relationships and express themselves within the safe family context.
So, to recap, positive family culture is built by being intentional with communication, discipline, values, and traditions. It creates an environment where everyone feels cherished and connected.
That's a perfect summary. It's also about establishing consistent routines. Routines provide structure and predictability, reducing stress for everyone. This could be a morning routine for timeliness or an evening routine for winding down. Predictability helps children feel safer because they know what to expect.
Routines can feel like a lot of work to establish, especially with young children.
They can, but the investment pays off. With routines, there's less resistance, nagging, and more harmony. It's like a well-oiled machine. Routines can evolve as children grow. What works for a toddler won't work for a teen, but structure remains important.
And this sense of identity benefits parents too, right? It grounds us in our role.
Absolutely. A strong family culture provides purpose and unity. When you're all moving in the same direction with shared understanding, it strengthens your bond. It reminds you of your shared journey and collective strength. It's that feeling of being in this together.
It's interesting how intentionality shapes something that can feel natural. It's about cultivating a specific kind of family life.
Precisely. It's about being present and mindful in shaping your home environment. It's choosing the atmosphere you want. This positive culture helps children feel secure, loved, and ready to face the world, knowing they have a strong foundation to return to. It gives them a sense of who they are as part of something bigger.
And that sense of belonging is vital for a child's well-being and development. You're building not just a family, but a legacy of connection.
Exactly. It's a legacy of connection, resilience, and shared identity. Creating a positive family culture involves being intentional with communication, discipline, values, traditions, and routines. These thoughtfully woven elements create a powerful sense of belonging and shape your family's unique identity, providing a supportive environment for everyone to thrive.
It's a beautiful concept, Alex, and one that feels achievable broken down into these manageable components.
And that's the essence of being an essential parent. Next time, we'll support your child's learning journey in episode 8. Welcome back to the Essential Parent Library. Last time, we explored building a positive family culture. to the Essential Parent Library. Last time, we talked about supporting your child's education. Today, we tackle the toddler tornado.
The toddler tornado. What a perfect description, Alex. It feels like suddenly you're dealing with a tiny human who has strong opinions and lots of energy, but very little ability to express it calmly.
Exactly, Lisa. Toddlerhood, roughly ages 1 to 3, is a period of immense growth in independence and language. However, their emotional regulation skills are still very immature, which creates a lot of friction. They want to do things themselves, they have new desires, but they lack the words to articulate them or the impulse control to manage their frustration when things don't go their way.
So, when we see behaviors like meltdowns, saying no constantly, or physical outbursts, it's not necessarily defiance. It's often a sign that their internal world is overwhelming them and they don't yet have the tools to cope.
Precisely. And this is where applying our earlier principles becomes so critical. Remember our discussions on attachment and emotional intelligence? These are the bedrock for navigating toddlerhood. When a toddler is having a meltdown, our first instinct might be to shut it down. But a more effective approach, rooted in secure attachment, is to offer comfort and validation first.
So, instead of saying, stop crying or you shouldn't be upset about that, we should acknowledge their feelings?
Yes, you can get down on their level and say, I see you're really upset because you wanted the blue cup and it was the red one. That's frustrating. This might seem counterintuitive when they're screaming, but it's teaching them that their feelings are valid and that you are a safe person to turn to. This is how they learn to build emotional intelligence.
That makes sense. It's about helping them name and understand their feelings, rather than just suppressing them. Building on that, what about the classic toddler saying no to everything? Is that a phase we just have to endure?
It's definitely a phase, but we can steer it. That no often comes from a burgeoning sense of self and a desire for autonomy. They're discovering they have a voice and can make choices. Instead of directly confronting every no, try offering limited, acceptable choices.
Like what?
Instead of asking, do you want to wear this shirt? Which invites a no, try, do you want to wear the red shirt or the blue shirt? Or do you want to brush your teeth now or after we read 2 books? You're giving them a sense of control within boundaries you set. This respects their need for independence while guiding them toward cooperation.
That's a great strategy. It's about redirecting that desire for control into positive avenues. What about those moments when they truly can't express themselves and it escalates into hitting or biting? That's really tough.
It is incredibly tough, and it's important to remember that, again, this often stems from a lack of verbal skills or impulse control. When this happens, your immediate response needs to be safety first. Gently but firmly separate the children if they are fighting, or stop the behavior if it's directed at you or themselves.
And then,
Then, once everyone is safe and calm, address the behavior. For the child who's upset, offer comfort and help them use words. I see you push Maya because you were angry she took your toy. It's okay to be angry, but it's not okay to push. For the child who is hurt, offer comfort and reassurance. This is a practical application of positive discipline. We're not punishing the outburst of emotion, but teaching alternative, acceptable behaviors.
so it's about teaching them what to do instead of just stopping them from doing what they're doing.
Exactly. And repetition is key. These lessons need to be reinforced consistently. It's also crucial to remember that toddlers are learning boundaries, and they will test them. This is normal. Our job is to hold those boundaries with confidence and consistency, always returning to connection.
That consistency must be so important. It's easy to get worn down, especially when you're tired.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to our earlier discussions on parental self-care. You cannot pour from an empty cup. When you're feeling depleted, it's much harder to respond calmly and effectively to the demands of toddlerhood. Prioritizing even small moments of rest or rejuvenation can make a significant difference in your ability to navigate these challenging, but ultimately temporary, phases.
So, for parents of toddlers, the key takeaways are validate their feelings, offer limited choices to foster independence, address behaviors calmly and consistently, and remember the importance of your own well-being. It's all about using those foundational parenting principles, attachment, emotional intelligence, and positive discipline, to guide them through this stage of rapid growth and big emotions.
That's a perfect summation, Lisa. Toddlerhood is a whirlwind, but by understanding the developmental stage and applying these strategies, we can help our children build essential life skills and navigate this tornado with more confidence and less chaos. Next episode, we'll explore guiding children through their teenage years. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Today we're guiding children through the teenage years, the adolescent ascent.
The Adolescent Ascent. That sounds like quite a journey. It feels like just yesterday our little ones were taking their first steps, and now we're facing full-blown teenagers. It's a period that can feel both exciting and a little terrifying for parents.
Absolutely. Adolescence is that bridge between childhood and adulthood. It's a time when kids are figuring out who they are, what they believe, and where they fit in the world. Our role shifts from direct guidance to more of a supportive presence, helping them navigate this complex terrain.
So, what are the key shifts we see during adolescence that parents should be aware of?
Great question. One of the biggest is the drive for independence. Teenagers naturally start to pull away from their parents as they seek to establish their own identity. This is a healthy part of development, but it can manifest as wanting more privacy, making their own decisions, and even questioning our authority.
That pulling away can be tough. It's easy for parents to feel rejected or to cling even tighter, which can backfire. How do we foster that independence while still maintaining connection?
It's a delicate balance. We need to give them space to grow and make their own choices, even if they sometimes make mistakes. Think of it like a bird learning to fly. You built a strong nest, taught them the basics, and now it's time to let them explore the sky while being there to catch them. Welcome back to the Essential Parent Library. Last time, we delved into the unique challenges and incredible transformations of the adolescent years. Now, we're tackling a topic that can feel like a perpetual storm in many households: sibling rivalry and conflict.
Oh, Alex, this is such a critical one. For parents, it can feel like a constant battle to keep the peace. You've got your kids, who you love dearly, often at each other's throats. It's exhausting, and sometimes it makes you question your own parenting.
Absolutely. It's easy for parents to get caught in the trap of seeing sibling conflict as a sign of failure. But the reality is, it's a normal and even healthy part of growing up. It's how children learn to navigate relationships, negotiate, and develop crucial social skills. Think of it as their first training ground for dealing with the wider world.
That's a great way to frame it. So, instead of just trying to stop every squabble, we should be looking at how to manage it and use it as a learning opportunity.
Precisely. Our goal as parents isn't to create a perfectly peaceful household where conflict never occurs. That's not realistic and, frankly, not beneficial. Our goal is to equip our children with the tools to handle conflict constructively. We want them to learn how to express their needs, listen to others, compromise, and resolve disagreements respectfully.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, where do we start? What are some of the foundational strategies for fostering healthier sibling relationships?
One of the most important things we can do is foster a strong sense of individuality and appreciation for each child. When children feel seen, valued, and understood for who they are, they're less likely to compete for parental attention in negative ways. Remember when we talked about forging your family's identity and creating a positive family culture? This is where that really comes into play on a daily basis.
Right? So ensuring each child feels like a unique and essential part of the family, not just a sibling.
Exactly. This means spending dedicated one-on-one time with each child. Even short bursts of focused attention can make a big difference. During this time, let them choose the activity, listen to their stories, and really connect with them. This special time helps reduce the feeling of competition for parental resources.
That sounds like a great proactive step. What about when the conflict is happening in the moment? Do we jump in immediately?
It depends on the severity and the age of the children. For younger children, or when things are escalating to physical or verbal aggression, intervention is necessary. For minor squabbles between older children, sometimes stepping back and allowing them to work it out themselves can be more beneficial. This gives them the space to practice those problem-solving skills we're talking about.
So, observation before intervention.
Yes, and when you do intervene, aim to be a facilitator, not a judge. Instead of saying, you started it, or he's right, you're wrong, try to guide them towards understanding each other. Ask open-ended questions like, what happened from your perspective? Or, how did that make you feel?
That connects back to cultivating emotional intelligence, helping them identify and verbalize their feelings.
Precisely. And by encouraging them to hear each other's perspectives, you're teaching empathy. You can say something like, so, Liam, you felt frustrated because Maya took your toy without asking. And Maya, you want to play with the toy, is that right? This helps them move from blaming to understanding.
That's a really practical approach. And when they have managed to resolve it, what then? Do we praise them?
Absolutely. Positive reinforcement is powerful. I saw how you two work together to find a solution. I'm proud of you for listening to each other and finding a compromise. This reinforces the desired behavior and teaches them that cooperation leads to positive outcomes. We want to focus on the process of conflict resolution, not just the outcome.
So, we're teaching them the skill of conflict resolution.
Yes, and alongside this, we can proactively teach them communication skills. Remember effective communication? We can apply those principles to sibling interactions. Teach them phrases like I feel, statements, and how to ask for what they need without demanding it. For example, instead of give me that, teach them say, I would like a turn with that when you're done, please.
That's a big shift in language, but so important. Beyond direct conflict, what about fostering a general sense of cooperation?
Teamwork makes the dream work, right? Encourage activities where they have to work together toward a common goal. This could be anything from building a Lego castle together to completing a chore like setting the dinner table, or even a family game night where they might team up against you. When they experience success as a team, it builds positive connections.
That's excellent. It shifts the focus from me versus you to us versus the challenge.
Exactly. And it's also important to model good conflict resolution ourselves. Our children are always watching. If they see us handling disagreements with our partners or friends respectfully, taking responsibility for our own actions, and seeking solutions, they're more likely to adopt those behaviors.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just about what we say, but what we do.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about fairness. This is a huge trigger for sibling rivalry. What one child perceives as unfair, the other might see as neutral. It's crucial to distinguish between sameness and fairness. Parents don't always need to treat children identically, but they do need to treat them equitably, considering their individual needs and circumstances,
That's a really important distinction. Sameness isn't always fairness.
right? For example, a younger child might need more supervision or a different bedtime than an older child. Explaining these differences in a clear, age-appropriate way can help mitigate feelings of injustice. You can say, you're getting to stay up later because you're older and you've earned more independence, just like how you got to have training wheels on your bike longer than your little sister.
Using those analogies to explain differences.
Perfectly put. Another strategy is to create family rules around respectful interaction. These aren't rules about who isn't allowed to do something, but rather positive guidelines for how everyone in the family treats one another. Rules like we use kind words, we respect each other's belongings, and we listen when someone is speaking.
So, establishing a baseline for acceptable behavior within the family unit.
Precisely. And when these rules are broken, the consequences should be consistent and focused on learning. It's not about punishment for punishment's sake, but about understanding the impact of their actions and making amends. This could involve apologizing, helping the sibling they've upset, or taking a break to cool down and think.
It's about responsibility and repair.
Exactly. So, to recap for our listeners, handling sibling rivalry isn't about eliminating conflict, but about transforming it into a powerful learning experience. We foster individuality and dedicated one-on-one time. We encourage empathetic communication by listening to each child's perspective, and we model respectful conflict resolution ourselves. We also differentiate between sameness and fairness, establish clear family rules, and focus on teaching responsibility and repair when those rules are broken.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, isn't it? Building those strong, healthy sibling bonds takes consistent effort.
It truly does. But the rewards of children who can support, challenge, and truly love each other throughout their lives are immeasurable. It's about building a foundation of cooperation and understanding that will serve them well long after they leave our homes.
That's a beautiful thought to end on. Alex, thank you for these invaluable strategies.
My pleasure, Lisa. And remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Next episode, we'll be looking at building resilience in the family and how to face adversity together. Welcome back to the Essential Parent Library. Last time, we delved into sibling rivalry and conflict resolution. Now, we're focusing on building resilience within the family.
That's such an important topic, Alex. It feels like once we get through one challenge, another one pops up. So, how do we build a family that can not just survive those challenges, but actually thrive through them?
That's the core of resilience. It's not about avoiding problems, but about developing the inner strength and the practical strategies to bounce back when things get tough. Think of our family like a sturdy tree. It's not that the tree never faces wind or rain, but its deep roots and flexible branches allow it to bend without breaking.
I like that analogy. So, what are those roots and branches for a resilient family?
Great question. Firstly, it's about fostering strong connections. We've touched on this throughout the series, but it bears repeating. When family members feel deeply connected and supported, they have a stronger. Welcome back to the Essential Parent Library. This is our final episode.
It truly has been a comprehensive exploration, Alex. We started with understanding attachment, the crucial foundation for our children's security and development. Remember how we talked about it being like a safe harbor?
Exactly, Lisa. And from that foundation, we build upon it by exploring early development and how to foster growth. We then moved into the practicalities of discipline, focusing on positive approaches rather than just consequences. Understanding the why behind behavior was key.
That was a game changer for me. And the emphasis on emotional intelligence, on helping children understand and manage their own feelings and empathy for others, that's so vital. It's about teaching them to feel first, as we said.
And how to express those feelings constructively through effective communication. We explored the language of love and its impact on connection. But we also made sure to stress that parenting isn't just about the child. Episode 6, You Matter Too, was all about the necessity of parental self-care.
Such an important reminder. You can't pour from an empty cup. Then we looked at building a positive family culture, forging that unique identity that makes a family a team.
Absolutely. And as children grow, their learning evolves. We touched on supporting their education, turning the home into a place of lifelong learning. We also dedicated time to specific age-related challenges like digging into the toddler tornado and understanding the adolescent ascent.
Navigating those intense phases required practical strategies, and we certainly covered those. And then we tackled conflict, sibling rivalry in episode 11, which always keeps things interesting, and building resilience in episode 12 to help families face adversity together.
It feels like we've covered a vast landscape, Lisa, from the quiet moments of early connection to the louder challenges of adolescence and everything in between. The common thread throughout has been about building a strong, loving, and supportive relationship with our children.
And empowering parents to feel confident in that journey. It's not about being perfect, but about being present, responsive, and adaptable. We've learned that parenting is a continuous process of learning and growing, not just for our children, but for us as well.
That's the heart of it, isn't it? This isn't a destination with a finish line, but a continuous journey of connection and co-creation. The essential parent is one who weaves all these elements together. The understanding of attachment, the nurturing of development, the art of communication, the importance of self-care, and the skills to navigate challenges.
It's about adaptability, too. What works today might need adjusting tomorrow. Being an essential parent means being willing to learn, to reflect, and to adjust our approach as our children grow, and as we learn more about them and ourselves.
Think about the ripple effect. When we prioritize our child's emotional well-being, we're giving them tools that will serve them their entire lives. When we communicate effectively, we build trust. When we practice self-care, we model healthy habits. Every episode, every concept builds on the last, creating a more resilient and connected family unit.
It really does feel like a holistic approach. We've moved from understanding the very roots of connection to equipping ourselves with the skills to navigate the complexities of family life. It's about fostering not just obedient children, but compassionate, resilient, and confident individuals.
And confident parents, too. That's a crucial part of the equation. When parents feel equipped and supported, they can approach parenting with more ease and less anxiety. It's about embracing the process, trusting our instincts, and knowing that we're not alone in this.
The takeaway is that it's all interconnected. Strong attachment supports emotional intelligence, which enhances communication, which makes discipline more effective. All of that is underpinned by parental self-care and a positive family culture, and it all helps us navigate the inevitable challenges and support lifelong learning.
Precisely. We've laid out the building blocks, and now it's about applying them with intention. It's the ongoing effort to be present, to listen, to guide with love, and to adapt. The essential parent is one who embraces this dynamic, ever-evolving role with confidence and compassion.
So, to recap our entire journey through the Essential Parent Library, we began by understanding how critical secure attachment is for our children's development. We then explored how to support their growth and introduced positive discipline techniques focused on understanding rather than just control.
We dive deep into cultivating emotional intelligence and mastering effective communication, the languages of connection. We then emphasize the non-negotiable importance of parental self-care, ensuring our own well-being.
Following that, we looked at intentionally creating a positive family culture, a unique identity, and shared values. We then discussed supporting our children's educational journey and developing them as lifelong learners.
We tackled specific developmental phases, like the toddler years and adolescence, with strategies to navigate those unique challenges. And importantly, we learned how to manage conflict, whether it's sibling rivalry, and how to build fundamental family resilience to face adversity.
It's been a comprehensive toolkit, Alex. And in this final episode, we've seen how all these pieces fit together, from the foundational attachment to the practical skills for conflict and resilience. The essential parent is someone who continuously weaves these elements into their daily interactions.
It's about being present for the big moments and the small ones, about offering guidance with a steady hand and a loving heart, and about remembering that the most powerful tool we have is our connection. We've provided the keys, and now it's your journey to open those doors with confidence.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the Essential Parent Library. It's been an honor to explore these vital topics with you.
Thanks for listening to the series.